Hey everyone, this is Nippomaniac Otaku Gamer here again. Today, after last video, I had the idea of doing Anime 101. That will be this weekly class about the anime world. When I was discussing with people about the last video, I've seen that not a lot of people really know about all of the anime world. I have some people that said that anime are different from cartoons because most anime have girls with big boobs and too much sexuality, and I had to explain to him that this was only one genre of anime, that was shonen anime. So I had the idea of doing this to explain to everyone who doesn't know, and to some people who actually know about the genders a little more, about at least the most popular ones. That in this video will be shonen, seinen, shoujo, harem, ecchi, hentai, and josei. So starting with shonen. Shonen in Japanese for young boy or small boy or just boy, and it's a genre of anime with for mostly schoolboys, high school boys, teenagers. The the most strong characters, the most strong characteristics of shonen anime is that there will always be a girl who will have the biggest boobs ever, and as bigger as the boob is, as bigger as the cleavage is, it's like this. Yeah. This girl is dependent on the main character. A good example is Sakura with Sasuke, and Norihime Inoue from Bleach with Kurosaki-kun, that she always says. Most shonen anime is focused on fighting battles, wars, magic, transformation, all these sort of things. There are these couples that everyone ships and the other seems to ship too, because there are always those scenes where you're just like, oh, kiss, kiss, or kiss, and then it doesn't happen. Only at the ending of the anime or manga. A good example would be, spoiler alert, Naruto, with the ending of Naruto. All the ships come true and you're like, oh my god, everyone had kids, oh god. Good examples of shonen anime is Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail. They're like the most popular animes, and the magazine in Japan that publishes them is Shonen Jump. So yes, Shonen Jump. If you watch some of them, you will see that Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail fit just right in this definition. Well, seinen is a lot different. Seinen means young person, young men actually, and it's directed at men between 20 to 14 years old. There's also some nice angle scenes as there is in some shonen anime, but there's so much more, and the nice angle scenes are just so much heavier as so much more is shown. But in comparison with shonen anime, the stories are so much more serious. It's more focused on politics, business, everyday life. Um, if there's a ship, it will happen right away. There won't be shipping and scenes with kiss already. If there's a ship, there will be a couple and they will kiss and they will have sex, and there will maybe have a sex scene if it's anime. Seinen mangas are written with kanji on a university level, as shonen is written with much simpler kanji characters, and there's also furigana in shonen mangas. Other thing that is really nice about seinen mangas to the author is that he's really free to do whatever he wants. If he wants to put on a sex scene, he can do that. Also, there's not so many pressures to create games and toys about it because it's not for kids or teenagers, so you don't really have to make games so fast as shonen mangas and anime have. If you remember how many Naruto and Bleach games there are, you will see that shonen anime really have to have a lot of toys and games, and seinen anime doesn't. Another really nice curiosity is that Sensei, that was published first as in shonen anime, was republished its continuations as seinen anime. So people who read them 15 to 20 years ago keep reading them right now as seinen anime with much hard kanji and better stories. That's for the manga. Shoujo is a lot more simple. It means young woman in Japanese, and it's mostly about girls and their friends, and they are living girl life, and they probably love a boy that it's perfect in all ways, and it's like everyone is dedicated. Also, you'll see that girls in shoujo anime are not sparkly. Their boobs are small, they have no butts. Um, they are not normally really beautiful, they're just normal girls, and the guys they love are normally thin and weird, and for some reason girls think that's sexy. But yes, theoretically that will be the sexiest guy on earth, but he's normally thin and weird. Um, Normally he really seems gay, but he's not, and girls love that for some reason. Oh, there's a curiosity. The first manga to be considered as shoujo was The Knight and the Princess by Osamu Tezuka. And shoujo anime, you often see transformation scenes, as you see in Sailor Moon and Sakura Card Captors or Wings Club. So these are also the examples I have to give us for shoujo anime. Also, Lucky Star is considered shoujo. See Lucky Star? Lucky Star. It's considered shoujo even though most of their public is men. But yeah. Ecchi and hentai are a little bit alike. Ecchi in Japanese is actually the letter H, but that's how they can pronounce it. And ecchi. Also, it's ecchi. This is the letter because it's the first letter in hentai. So theoretically, hentai and ecchi would be the same, but they're not. Ecchi really looks like shonen anime, for there are a lot of battles, and also looks a little bit like seinen because some of the some of the some of the themes are a little too mature for shonen. What really defines the ecchi manga or anime is the nice single scenes. There are a lot, and they are so much intense, so much more intense than on seinen anime or shonen anime. Because, well, if there is a fight, you'll see panties. If a girl gets punched, she will get punched in the boobs, and there will be like 10 seconds of a scene with boobies bouncing and the girl moaning because of that. So that's an ecchi anime. If you have ever seen High School of Dead, that's an ecchi anime. There's pennies everywhere. So, yeah, the anime Penny is talking with Ganderbelt, which I talked about in my last video, is considered an ecchi and a hentai, for there are a lot of sex intense references and words that are sex related. Well, Penny is a really hentai character. She's a nymphomaniac person, and she always uses sex terms for everyday stuff. Hentai is normally used to describe anime porn, and it's mostly that it doesn't have to have sex scenes with explicit sex, but there are hard references to sex, and maybe sometimes there can be a censure, that censure that doesn't censure anything at all, is just to say, oh, that's censored, so it's okay, but it's not. Also, hentai is divided in a lot of subgroups, which would have the first ones, the most popular ones, being as straight hentai, yaoi hentai, or yuri hentai. yaoi hentai would be homosexual hentai, but male version, and Yuri will be the female version of homosexual hentai. Um, and those three are also subdivided in a lot of groups. I won't talk about them in this video. I would have to create a whole video talking about the hentai genres because there are a lot. I know that yaoi itself is divided into three subgroups. Yuri, I think it has eight, and hentai itself has so much more as shotakon, loricon, and so much more subgroups. So maybe I'll do a video about that later if you guys want. Josei manga or anime is like an evolution of shoujo. As shoujo anime have that idealized love where there is this perfect boy and a girl who is a girl who is sloppy and stupid and incompetent and like super mega moe can tell him about her love. And Joseon mangas there will be a grown woman who loves a guy, and if she loves a guy, she will go after him. Maybe there will be forbidden loves. Maybe the guy will be married. There is like Mexican novels. Yeah, I don't really like them. I think I find them boring, but I respect them as they are like seinen manga, but totally for girls. I think Nana is a Josei anime. I never read Nana, but just for reading the first 3 pages of it, I think it's a Josei manga. So yeah. Oh, also recently in Josei manga there being also recently and also recent also recently in Josei manga there is being some homosexual themes and sadomasochism themes. So it's like 50 tones of gray, but on manga. Sorry. So it's like 50 so it's like 50 shades of gray, but on manga. So some examples are Gokusen. Harem animes are just a subgenre. So if you have ever watched Sword Art Online, that's a harem anime. If you haven't, Sword Art Online is about I won't tell this. So if you haven't, Sword Art Online, it's a super harem anime where this guy, there's Kirito, and he loves a girl, and this girl loves him back. They are related, but every girl Kirito meets falls in love with him immediately and just can't forget about him. And so he has like 8 girls in his team, and they are all friends with each other. They kind of accept that he belongs to Asuna, that is his girlfriend, but they love him and they want to stick with him because I don't know, they are friends. It's weird. It's really weird. Normal harem animes or mangas, there will be normally a guy and a lot of girls like him. Also, there's reverse harem. That will be there's a girl and there's a lot of guys who like her. One anime that is like that, an anti-harem, would be Kamikami no Asobi. That is about this girl who ends up in a school with some gods of some religions, not Christ, because Christ would be boring. And they all like her, and they all kind of start falling in love with her, and she falls in love with every one of them. When some of them shows up, there's like a scene with he stopped in time, and there's flowers blossoming behind him. It's stupid, but it's a nice anime. So that was it. Those are like the most popular genres of anime and manga. If you didn't know before, now you know. So if you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. Give a like so I know that I should keep on doing it. If you want to discuss, the comments are open for discussion. I will be answering on my personal profile or on the channel profile on Google Plus or on YouTube. So thanks for watching till the end. Sorry about my accent. Goodbye.